When night falls and the moon vanishes in the sky over the Amazon, the jungle shows its true face. Only those trained by the ancients can walk among the shadows, see what others cannot, and survive the terror. I am Kanawha. I have lived through more than 60 moons in the heart of the Amazon. I have seen things that white men cannot explain. I have heard voices that should not exist. Tonight, you will know what happens when the moon disappears from the sky over the Amazon jungle. 3 days earlier, I saw the signs. The howler monkeys stopped their dawn calls. The anacondas abandoned the Rio Negro, crawling to higher ground. Jaguars marked the trees around our village from the outside as if protecting us from something approaching. The animals of the jungle sense what we cannot. When they flee, there is an ancient reason. But the most disturbing sign came in the early hours of the second day. I found tracks around the village. Tracks that did not belong to any known animal. They were like human hands, but with 6 long fingers, leaving dark marks on the ground as if burning the earth. I knew exactly what it meant. My grandfather was the last shaman to face a moonless night. He took me into the heart of the jungle when I was only 12 moons old. He made me drink the sacred ayahuasca and show me the other side. He taught me protective chants, the words that keep the doors between worlds closed. He said, "Kanawha, a night will come when you are the only one who can walk under the dark sky. Everyone else must stay inside, because they have not seen what you have seen. They do not know the true names of the shadows." That night had arrived. I gathered the community in the center of the village. The elders already knew. The young ones listened in fear. I ordered them to stay inside their huts. Seal the entrances with sacred wild tobacco leaves. Do not look into the jungle after nightfall. And most importantly, do not respond to any voice, no matter who calls, even if it is the voice of a loved one. But there is always someone who does not listen. When night fell, the stars flickered like candles about to go out. One by one, the light of the sky disappeared. I was in the center of the village, preparing the sacred fire, when I felt the cold. A cold not from the air, but from something deeper. An ancestral cold etched into our bones. When the last light went out, I heard the sound, a sigh of 1,000 voices fading at once. The first thing I noticed was absolute silence. The Amazon jungle is never silent. There are always crickets, frogs, the wind through the leaves. But that night, nothing. In that silence, I heard what I had been expecting. Slow, heavy, deliberate steps coming from all directions at once, surrounding the village like hunters stalking their prey. From the center of the village, I saw shadows moving among the trees, ancient entities, as old as the jungle itself. They were tall as 3 men stacked. They moved without walking, gliding through the mist that had appeared from nowhere, and their eyes, they glowed with a phosphorescent red, with a malevolent intelligence behind them. Then the voices began. The true terror of the moonless night. First, I heard my wife calling me from the edge of the jungle, but she was inside our hut. I could see the light of her fire. Then I heard my son, the one who died 10 moons ago from a snake bite. He called, "Father, Father, I'm lost in the jungle. Please come find me. I'm cold." My heart wanted to run toward that voice. But my mind, trained by my grandfather, knew the truth. These things study our memories, our deepest pains. They use our love as bait. The entire village heard the voices. Mothers heard their dead children. Children heard lost parents. Every voice knew intimate secrets, words only true loved ones could know. From the huts, I heard the cries, people struggling against the urge to open their doors. I shouted, "Do not listen. Cover your ears. These are not the people you loved." But one of the young hunters, Takumi, could not resist. He heard his twin brother, missing in the jungle for 3 years. I watched as he opened the door of his hut. His parents tried to stop him, but he was strong. He pushed his father aside and ran into the darkness, calling his brother's name. I ran to the edge of the village, but it was too late. Takumi had crossed the boundary of the sacred fire. I saw him enter the mist. For a moment, I saw his silhouette. Then something grabbed him. Hands, long black fingers wrapped around him like snakes. Takumi screamed. His scream lasted 3 seconds. Then silence. But the worst came after. From the darkness, I heard his voice. It was no longer him. It was something using his voice as a mask. Shaman Kanoa, help me. I am still alive. I am hurt. Please. It was a trap. They wanted me to leave the protection of the sacred fire too. But I was not like the others. I had been prepared for this. I entered my hut and took the sacred tools my grandfather left me. The necklace of black jaguar teeth, an animal that only appears on moonless nights. Ashes from lightning-struck wood, and powdered bones of ancient shamans, ground and mixed with resins from millennial-old trees. I cover my body with the sacred ashes, drawing protective symbols that burn with their own light. I hung the necklace of glowing teeth around my neck, and I drank the ayahuasca tea that would allow me to see both worlds at the same time. And I knew what I had to do. I stepped out of my hut. The shadows immediately fixed their gaze on me. Hundreds of glowing red eyes turned toward me. I walked into the jungle. The villagers shouted for me to stop, but I could not. If the doors stayed open until dawn, these things would find a way to stay. They would invade the huts, possess the weak. The entire village would fall. When I crossed the boundary of the sacred fire, the shadows lunged at me. But when their dark hands touched the sacred ashes on my skin, they burned with a hiss of pain. I shouted the first power chant, the words my grandfather taught me. Words in the ancient tongue, older than Tupi, from when the first humans learned to survive in this jungle. The shadows retreated, but did not flee. They began to change shape, taking on even more terrible forms. Now they were beasts with distorted bodies, impossible combinations of jaguars, anacondas, and something humanoid. They surrounded me, hissing, growling. One took the form of my dead grandfather and spoke in his exact voice. Kanoa, my grandson, why do you fight us? We are the true jungle. We are older than your people. We belong here. But I was not fooled. I kept walking toward the heart of the jungle, toward where I felt the doors were open. I reached the sacred tree, the giant sabo with more than 1,000 moons of life. And there, at its base, I saw the door. It was a tear in the very air, a rift in reality pulsing with black light. And on the other side, I saw things no human should ever see. I saw a world of eternal darkness, where shadows were solid and light was liquid. I saw cities made of black bone and rivers of mist. And I saw the true rulers of that place, entities so ancient and vast that my mind could not fully comprehend them. I began the closing ritual. I placed the sacred ashes around the rift, chanting without stopping. The shadows attacked with fury, trying to stop me. They scratched me. They struck me. I felt their cold fingers trying to drag me toward the portal. But I could not stop. Every word of the chant weakened the rift. Every symbol I drew on the ground with the ashes closed it a little more. For what felt like hours, I fought. My voice cracked. My throat bled. The shadows screamed with voices not of this world, voices that rattled bones and clouded the mind. At the final moment, when I thought I could go no further, I shouted the true name of the jungle, the secret name known only to the oldest shamans, and the rift began to close. The shadows were sucked back into their dimension, screaming and cursing in forgotten tongues. One by one, they vanished until only silence remained. When the rift closed completely, I felt as if a great weight had been lifted from the world. The normal sounds of the jungle slowly returned. First a cricket, then a frog, then the wind, and then, in the sky, the moon began to reappear, as if it had never left, shining full and silver over the Amazon jungle. I returned to the village as the first rays of sunlight lit the horizon. I was covered in wounds and ashes, but I was alive. The villagers emerged from their huts, crying in relief, but I knew something was still unresolved. Takumi, I organized a search party. We went to where he had disappeared, and we found him. He was standing at the edge of the jungle, completely still, staring into the trees. When we approached and called his name, he slowly turned. His eyes were completely white, without pupils, and he smiled, a smile that was not human. I performed purification rituals for 3 days and 3 nights. I managed to restore part of Takumi's soul, but something had changed forever. He regained the ability to speak, to eat, to move, but he was never the same. His eyes returned to their color, but they held a distant look, as if part of him was still in that other place. And to this day, every night, he leaves his hut and stands at the edge of the village, staring into the jungle. The elders say he is waiting for the moon to disappear again. The Amazon jungle is not just trees, rivers, and animals. It is a living, conscious being as ancient as time itself. It has memory, it has will, it has secrets that modern humanity has forgotten. There are doors here that connect to other worlds, other dimensions that exist alongside our own. When the moon disappears, it is not a cosmic accident. It is a moment of weakness in the barriers between worlds. It is when things from the other side can cross over. That is why the ancients developed rituals, chants, and protections, not out of superstition, but for survival. I was trained from childhood to be the guardian, the one who can walk in the darkness and return. But that training came at a price. I have seen things that haunt my dreams. I have learned truths that weigh on the soul like stones. And I know this will happen again. The jungle is patient. It waits. And when it happens again, I hope to be ready. I hope the young people of the village have learned the lessons. And if you are near a jungle, any jungle on a moonless night, listen carefully. Maybe, just maybe you will hear the voices. And if you hear them, do not respond. The jungle is calling you. Can you feel it? If your answer is yes, if something inside you resonated with this ancient truth, then write in the comments, I accept the call. Do not forget to like this video so more people can learn the mysteries of the Amazon night and understand that there are forces in this world beyond modern comprehension. Subscribe to the channel, because Shaman Kanal has many more stories the world needs to hear. See you at the next moon. And remember, the jungle always listens, the jungle always watches, and the jungle never forgets.